Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of Kaitlyn Conley? She is the topic of the Hulu documentary titled Little Miss Innocent, Passion, Poison, Prison. Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Kaitlyn Conley was born in April 1993 in Sauquoit, New York. This small town is about an hour east of Syracuse. Kaitlyn's parents were named Vin and Kathy, and she had 3 younger sisters. In 2011, at her high school graduation party, Kaitlyn met a man named Adam Yoder. The couple became romantically involved and had a toxic on-again, off-again relationship. Adam's mother was a chiropractor named Mary Yoder, who, along with her husband William Yoder, owned a business called Chiropractic Family Care in nearby Whitesboro, New York. Despite being involved in a tumultuous romantic relationship, both Kaitlyn and Adam worked in the clinic as office managers. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On July 20, 2015, 60-year-old Mary Yoder was scheduled to work a 10-hour shift at her clinic. She arrived at about 8 a.m. The only other employee in the clinic was Kaitlyn Conley. Mary went to visit her mother at lunchtime, returning to the clinic sometime between 1 and 1:30 p.m. At 4:30 p.m., Mary experienced several distressing symptoms, including abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. She went to her house at 6:30 p.m., where she spent most of the evening in the bathroom. At 6:30 a.m. the next day, July 21, Mary was not feeling any better, so her husband William drove her to a hospital. They arrived there at about 9:30 a.m. At first, Mary appeared to be stable. The plan was to keep her overnight and conduct a few more tests. Unfortunately, Mary took a turn for the worse. Overnight, she went into cardiac arrest 8 times. On July 22, at 2:54 p.m., Mary Yoder died. Initially, Mary's death represented a medical mystery. It took the medical examiner's office 2 months to figure out what happened to her. They were surprised to learn that her death was caused by colchicine toxicity. Colchicine is an anti-inflammatory medication used to treat the medical condition gout, which is an inflammation of the joints. Mary did not have gout, and she had no other reason to take colchicine. Furthermore, the quantity of colchicine she had in her system was 15 times the lethal level. The police suspected that Mary was murdered. Here is what they found during the course of their investigation. After Mary's death, her husband William started a romantic relationship with Mary's sister Kathy. This didn't look too good for him, but the police did not think he was involved. Mary Yoder's son Adam, who again was Kaitlyn Conley's occasional lover, attracted some attention. In November 2015, the medical examiner's office received an anonymous letter implicating Adam. The letter claimed that he had fits of rage, and the container of colchicine used in the murder of Mary Yoder was under the front passenger seat of Adam's black 1991 Jeep Wrangler. When the police searched his Jeep, they found the container of the drug exactly where the letter stated. They also found a crumpled receipt for the drug from a California company called Art Chemicals. The receipt contained an email address which included the name Mr. Adam Yoder. This discovery made it seem like Adam was involved. However, the police focused their attention on Kaitlyn Conley and interviewed her several times. During the 3rd interview, on December 21, 2015, Kaitlyn admitted that she wrote the anonymous letter implicating Adam. During her final interview, on February 5, 2016, Kaitlyn admitted that she purchased prepaid cards at a grocery store. Those cards were used to purchase the colchicine. The email address on the receipt had been accessed from only 2 places, Kaitlyn's residence and her cell phone. Even though the transaction had been conducted mostly through email, there were 2 phone conversations between the seller and the buyer. The seller reported that the buyer was a young female. Kaitlyn's DNA was found on the colchicine vial and on the cardboard wrapper that contained the vial. By this point, the police had constructed a theory of the crime. Kaitlyn was upset because her romantic relationship with Adam was over. She wanted to make him suffer by killing his mother and framing him for the murder. On July 20, 2015, Mary and Kaitlyn were both working at the clinic. After Mary left to visit her mother, Kaitlyn entered the kitchen and found Mary's almond milk and protein powder shake. She put the drug in the milk, the protein powder, or both. Mary returned to the clinic, consumed the drug, became sick, and later died. In June 2016, Kaitlyn Conley was charged with second-degree murder. In the state of New York, second-degree murder is similar to what most states call first-degree murder. New York has a narrow definition of first-degree murder, which involves special circumstances not alleged in this case, like murdering a police officer. Kaitlyn's trial took place in April and May of 2017. The jury was unable to reach a unanimous verdict and voted 10-2 in favor of acquittal. A mistrial was declared. Before Kaitlyn could go to trial for a second time, there was a critical development in the case. Adam informed the authorities that Kaitlyn had plugged her phone into his computer near the time when Mary Yoder died. A search of that computer revealed a backup of Kaitlyn's phone. The police found many curious items. Kaitlyn had deleted 6,000 images between the time of the backup and when the police searched her phone after Mary's murder. Some of the deleted images were of websites containing information about various poisons. Kaitlyn had looked at an article titled "Some of the World's Most Toxic Substances" and searched for the term, "What are the most lethal poisons?" Eventually, Kaitlyn became focused on the drug colchicine and even used Mary Yoder's body weight to make a calculation for that drug. Kaitlyn's second trial started in October 2017. For this trial, the jury was allowed to consider the lesser included charge of first-degree manslaughter. On November 6, 2017, Kaitlyn Conley was found not guilty of second-degree murder, but guilty of first-degree manslaughter. She was sentenced to 23 years in prison. Now moving to my analysis. Kaitlyn Conley maintains her innocence, and she has many supporters, including a few of Mary Yoder's relatives. They argue that the real killer could have been either William or Adam, but definitely not Kaitlyn. The state, of course, disagrees. They argue that the evidence against Kaitlyn is overwhelming. This brings me to the question, was Kaitlyn Conley guilty of murder? Let's take a look at the evidence both for and against the idea that she was guilty, starting with the inculpatory factors. Kaitlyn and Adam had an on-again, off-again romantic relationship. After each breakup, Kaitlyn appeared to become more dramatic and reckless. On November 18, 2014, Kaitlyn accused Adam of conducting an assault of a sexual nature against her. She supplied printed images of injuries to her body allegedly caused by Adam during this attack, but the matching digital images had been taken years earlier. The police had her call Adam and attempt to get a confession, but Adam did not admit to anything. He accused Kaitlyn of lying. Kaitlyn stopped pursuing the case after this. It seems clear that Kaitlyn falsely accused Adam. After this incident, the couple reconciled, but just a few months before Mary Yoder's murder, they broke up for good. Kaitlyn searched the internet for information about various poisons, including colchicine. She made a calculation using Mary Yoder's body weight. Kaitlyn had the opportunity to poison Mary with the colchicine. Kaitlyn admitted that she wrote the letter implicating Adam. DNA from Kaitlyn was found on the colchicine vial and on the cardboard container for the vial. The email address used to order the poison was accessed from Kaitlyn's residence and from her cell phone. She admitted to purchasing prepaid cards, which were used to buy the colchicine. The company that sold the colchicine said that the buyer had a young female voice. Moving to the exculpatory factors, some people claimed that Mary Yoder's husband was familiar with colchicine. Allegedly, he had used it to grow some type of super marijuana. William was exceptionally smart. He had 2 PhDs, was detail-oriented, and loved murder mysteries. On the day that Mary became sick, William did not work. William had a romantic relationship with Mary's sister right after Mary died. Both William and Adam had access to many of the same areas as Kaitlyn. They had the opportunity to poison Mary with the colchicine. Kaitlyn and Adam separated not long before Mary's murder, but Kaitlyn initiated that breakup. The lethal drug was found in Adam's vehicle. As far as the allegation Kaitlyn made against Adam regarding an assault of a sexual nature, Adam said that he had blacked out from drinking, so he didn't remember what he did. That statement is not exactly the same thing as a denial. Text messages between Kaitlyn and Adam indicated that the volatility in the relationship was partially due to Adam's behavior. Even if Kaitlyn was the one who poisoned Mary, that doesn't mean she intended to kill her. Perhaps Kaitlyn researched lethal doses in order to figure out how to deliver a dose that would not kill Mary, like Kaitlyn wanted to know what the limit was. When considering the evidence, do I believe that Kaitlyn Conley was guilty of murder? Yes, I believe she was guilty of second-degree murder beyond a reasonable doubt. Perhaps the various theories about William and Adam motivated the jury to convict Kaitlyn of the lesser charge of first-degree manslaughter. In their minds, there was some uncertainty. What do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Kaitlyn Conley was self-centered, dramatic, erratic, sadistic, vindictive, petty, immature, impulsive, irresponsible, obsessive, cold, callous, manipulative, deceptive, had a fear of abandonment, falsely believed she was special, had unstable mood, had a sense of entitlement, and was exceedingly creepy. After breaking up with Adam, she wanted to make him pay. Kaitlyn murdered Mary Yoder and framed Adam. If she had only committed the murder and not tried to frame him, Kaitlyn would have escaped justice. It was her determination to get revenge that led to her downfall. During both of Kaitlyn's trials, the shortcomings of both William and Adam were exposed. For example, William's romantic relationship with Mary's sister and Adam's unwillingness to regulate his consumption of alcohol. During the first trial, the defense vilified William. During the second, they went after Adam. In addition to accusing other people, the defense tried to make Kaitlyn look sweet and innocent, as if there was no way she could possibly carry out a murder. The combined effect of the strategies created doubts among the jury members. Kaitlyn was almost acquitted at her first trial and only convicted of a lesser charge at the second. Ultimately, she could consider herself fortunate. A 23-year sentence is a lot better than life in prison, and Kaitlyn can continue to play the victim. In the Hulu documentary about this case, she claimed that she was targeted and a scapegoat. The fact that so many people continued to believe that William and or Adam were involved in Mary's murder proves that Kaitlyn partially accomplished her goal of wreaking havoc and getting revenge. Now moving to my final thoughts. One lesson that can be learned from this case is that some people find it difficult to recognize patterns of behavior. Perhaps that's what happened to many of the people involved in this case, including the two juries. They failed to see that Kaitlyn engaged in increasingly dramatic behavior in relation to her romance with Adam. She was willing to do anything to hurt him. Another lesson in this case is this: one of the worst possible offenders is a person who is willing to hurt innocent people in order to get revenge. Kaitlyn had her reasons for disliking Adam, but her problem was with him. It had nothing to do with his mother, Mary Yoder. Even so, Kaitlyn carefully planned a murder to kill an innocent bystander. She was so wrapped up in her own selfishness, in her own sense of entitlement, in her own false belief of being special, that harming someone innocent did not trouble her one bit. Everybody in the world existed simply to please Kaitlyn. She could love them, hate them, kill them, frame them, do anything that she wanted to them. One of the most offensive events to Kaitlyn is when people fail to recognize her suffering. By collecting a group of supporters and lying to them repeatedly, Kaitlyn has once again satisfied her primary goal of being the center of attention. Those are my thoughts in the case of Kaitlyn Conley. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They consistently generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.